Hello everyone, and this is Jubilant Rich here with what could possibly be my first ever 100% positive video on Kill Team stuff. So first of all, I have placed my pre-order for Kill Team Octarius and the Kill Team Compendium. I was successful in actually managing to get one of the, the initial run, so I'm not going to be waiting however long for it to come like some unfortunates might. That's not me gloating or boasting, by the way. I'm just saying I know it can sort of suck, like how the releases are going now, and the FOMO does kind of it's not fun. But yeah, thankfully I won't be part of that. But yeah, anyway, so because Glass Half Dead has had his embargo lifted for any of the contents of the compendium, he was allowed to, of course, talk about the contents, and therefore I couldn't help but look at the Tyranid stuff first of all, and then I found myself looking through my actual collection of bits and bobs, because I found out you could actually take 3 Tyranid warriors in a fire team, and that really okay. It excited me a bit more than it should have. I mean, I thought they were going to get 2 at the very most, on account of the 18 wounds which were rumored, which is now confirmed. But no, it's like three models at 18 wounds a pop, and you can of course take 2 fire teams of the 3, which would mean you'd be having a full 108 wounds of models in a kill team, which is kind of scary, not gonna lie. So I started looking through my bits and was gonna maybe go for the 6-man Tyranid warrior team, but then I thought to myself, as tempting as it is, I just didn't think I had all the bits that I'd want, because I'd already made like a couple of Tyranid warriors out of the potential 6 with weapons which I either wouldn't be using much or what have you. But yeah, long story short, probably not going to go Tyranids now. May do in the future, want to actually buy some more bits. At the moment, buying stuff is, well, I've already bought a bunch of stuff, right? So, bought a bunch of stuff which I've yet to receive. So, that's out the window. However, I do have loads of bits of Genestealer Cult stuff. Initially, as you may have seen in all my other videos, I was actually going to be doing a mostly neophyte roster. When I was looking at the neophyte fire teams, I noticed that you can actually have in each fire team 2 of the special weapon gunners and 1 of your heavy weapon gunners. And that didn't make any sense to me, because that would mean that you'd basically have 1 slot for a special weapon that you can't fill, because there's only 3 of the special weapons to pick from when it comes to the neophytes. So it was like a really odd way of doing it, I thought. It was going to be in each fire team you can have 1 special weapon gunner and 1 heavy weapon gunner. You get 2 fire teams, and then you'd have the usual inbox max of 2 specials, 2 heavies. But no, they decided to go weird with it, and it annoyed me just a little bit. Oh, sorry, that's not. We're going 99% positive. Anyway, so yes, with the acolytes and the metamorphs, I found things were looking a little bit better. I mean, like, considering the fact that you've actually got 5 maximum in each of those 2 different fire teams, then of course it's a simple case of taking, 20 guys, and I could still get teams of 10, so it's gonna, I've actually got my roster written right here, and I'm going to read it out to you because I'm sure you would enjoy that rather than me having something up there which you can read for yourself. No, you're just going to hear me drone about it. Anyway, so yes, basically, first of all, you got the Acolyte Hybrid Leader. I'm taking him with a Lash Whip and a Bone Sword, because I noticed with the Lash Whip, at least in the Tyranids, you can reduce attacks with that. I figured, hey, makes sense. And the fact that you can actually do that as standard and not as a tactic like it was before, pretty good. So that's nice. And the Bone Swords, again, really, really sweet. So I want to make sure that at least one guy does have one of those. Following that, we've got a Acolyte Hybrid Fighter with Heavy Rock Cutter, Acolyte Hybrid Fighter with Heavy Rock Drill, and Acolyte Fighter with the Heavy Rock Saw, because, I mean, each of them, they're definitely different from first edition. Well, I mean, everything is different from first edition anyway, but I think each thing does, you know, what it needs to do. The Cutter, with being lethal 5+, it's sort of going back to what it did before, because, you know, its critical damage is 7. So against, say, a veteran guardsman, you could insta-kill him. The whole point of the, you know, weapon as it was before. With the rest of the roster, we got Acolyte Hybrid Gunner. I've gone for 3 of those. It's really weird how the Acolyte Hybrid fire teams work, because it says you can have up to 5 chosen from the following list, and then it says each fire team can have up to 1 of the following options, and then it does things like 2 Acolyte Gunners, 2 Acolyte Fighters, an Acolyte Fighter, and an Acolyte Gunner. And basically I'm making sure that I can assemble it in the any team in such a way as I won't, of course, be breaching those limitations. So like I say, I've got 3 of the Acolyte Hybrid Gunners. They have hand flamers, in case anyone doesn't know this already. 2 Acolyte Hybrid Troopers, and they're really just there so that whenever it comes to taking the demolition charges as equipment, those will be the models that, you know, have them on it. And I know that with equipment you don't really have to worry about WYSIWYG as much, and I think with the tournament that Glass Half Dead is organising, he's saying that, you know, it's not such a priority, the WYSIWYG element, but, you know, I just want it there so that, of course, I know who's got what, basically. It's more for me than them. So yeah, with the rest of the Acolytes, what else have I got here? I got an Acolyte Hybrid Icon Bearer. That's exactly what I said on the tin, basically. Okay, so I believe that's all 10 of the Acolyte choices. Following on from that, my Hybrid Metamorphs, because I love the models. I don't know how I feel about how the Hybrid Metamorph weapons are now just one thing. Hybrid Metamorph mutations. But considering the rules that you get for them, like Brutal, I believe is one of them, I think that's pretty good. I mean, like, considering the fact that you're going to be getting guys running around with the little Hybrid Metamorph whips and still doing, like, the Brutal special rule is kind of cool, rather than it having to be represented by the Metamorph Claw. Yeah, so anyway, like I say, Hybrid Metamorph Leader with Hand Flamer, Cult Bone Sword, and of course the Metamorph mutations. As you can see here, I'm trying to get in as many of the Hand Flamers as possible, even though they're not like the best thing in the world, but hey, it's flamers. Hybrid Metamorph Gunners, I've got 4 of those, because obviously that way if I ever take it as just like pure Metamorph spam, I will of course have the maximum that I can have, which is 2 Metamorph Gunners per fire team. Hybrid Metamorph Fighters, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 of those. And then finally got a Hybrid Metamorph Icon Bearer, bearing in mind that I can only take one Icon Bearer in a kill team, whether it be the Acolyte or the Metamorph one, alright? So, that is the roster. I have no idea how competitive it is, and I'm sure people who are already math hammering this game, even though they don't even have it in their hands, are probably going to say, "Oh, Jubilant Rich, your roster's crap. You should be playing this other faction that you don't want to play. Yeah, just start over." But yeah, this is what I got. This is what I'm going to play. And whether or not I take this to the tournament, I do not know. But I know that I will be constructing this at the very least as my very first roster for Kill Team Octarius. And that will be interesting. The whole painting aspect, well, I was, because, you know, I said about doing Leviathan for the Tyranids, I'm just thinking, I'm not even going to bother, because creeds aren't even a thing now, so it doesn't really matter what colour scheme I use. Normally I have a bit of an affinity when it comes to Genestealer cults for the creed of Tiamat, because I really love Tiamat as a high fleet, and the fluff, you know, tying them to Genestealer cults in general is kind of cool. And I could very easily take a colour scheme which, you know what, bear with me for 2 seconds. So this dude here was my first experiment into doing a Genestealer Cultist with the sort of like Tiamat style colour scheme. One and only of, because most of the other ones are just primed, and I was gonna sort of like batch paint them, but then I just sort of like thought, you know what, I'm just gonna finish one of them and see if this scheme actually works. But yeah, you're not going to be able to see that properly, but whatever. Yeah, so basically what I might actually do instead, because of course, like I say, the creeds don't really matter, probably just make it as quick and easy as possible, since I've got to get all this done before late September. Like black, mostly Spec Ops style thing, you know, they're just Spec Ops Genestealers, hence the game. Yeah, and that'd be hopefully easy enough. Yeah, so, but yeah, like I say, this is, I didn't actually do, I think there's a whole algorithm thing with, like, if you don't explain the purpose of the video in the first 30 seconds, it doesn't do too well. I guess I'm going to have to title this in such a way that everyone knows exactly what the hell I'm talking about here. But yeah, so yeah, I've gone through my roster, shown you some crappy painting, and told you that I'm going to be playing Genestealer cults. Yay. That's all I've done. But yeah, thanks guys. This is, I guess, the end of the video, and like and subscribe. If you don't like, I'm not surprised. If you do subscribe, I'd really appreciate it. And yeah, I shall hopefully come back to you with another random ramble sometime soon. Goodbye.